like me. I already have little here on my head. You want me to lose all, like Ken Gordon? I don't want that. But I want the cricket board to look around at other organizations and try to emulate the best from them. And I said to myself that if the cricket board cannot properly run its domestic affairs, it cannot run the sport at the domestic level, how the hell do you expect it to do well at the international level? And that's the crux of the matter. Because you have to be able to run your competitions within the region and run them well. You have to be able to keep, of course, the public on your side. And what is even for me more painful is that over history, for all kinds of reasons, cricket has regional governments on its side. It's the only sport where cricket is knocking on an open door as far as governments are concerned. The most recent international case I want to refer you to this evening is the fiasco that took place in Antigua New Cricket Ground some weeks ago. A ground that was built for the last Cricket World Cup. In case you don't know, my friends, the West Indies Cricket Board headquarters is in Antigua. The headquarters is 10 minutes drive from the cricket ground. And yet for all, a test match is played and only 10 balls are bowled because the ground is not fit. Why couldn't the cricket board inspect the ground to ascertain its readiness? They could even have walked to the ground to do that. And if by chance the board did inspect the ground and the board approved the ground for the test match, then they all should hang their heads in collective shame. Let me give you one example. Trinidad and Tobago will be hosting the FIFA Under-17 World Cup in 2010, September the 5th to 25th, 2010. You hear the date? And the FIFA last month sent 7 persons to inspect the facilities here, hotels, grounds, and venues, 1.5 years in advance. And those 7 people will come here 4 times before the event to inspect. And yet for all, and these people come from Zurich in Switzerland, but the board headquarters is in Antigua, 10 minutes away, and they couldn't inspect. Something has to be wrong. Excellency Speaker, I didn't see you. My apologies, sir. In any case, tomorrow I'm your guest. And therefore I say to you that we have to understand that we have to lift the bar in how we conduct our business in cricket in the West Indies. We have to ask the cricket board to do like FIFA does. And if the board wants advice, I keep telling them, if they want advice, I will give them for free at no cost, including my own airfare. But let us try to lift the bar, and let us, of course, put cricket in the modern times, so to speak. Let's take it from the dark ages. And for me, what was even more embarrassing about Antigua were the negative TV pictures that were shown all over the world. The pictures over the world showed some primitive tools being used by the workers in some primitive methods. No wonder people believe that we still live on trees in the West Indies. I tell you, therefore, that in many ways, we have to lift the bar. We have to understand that there is no merit, there is no acclaim in saying that we have the history for having had the shortest test match in history. Nothing is gained by saying our record shows that we had the shortest test match, 10 balls. 10 balls. That event, more than anything else, has made the board the laughing stock of international sports. And I take no pride, I take no joy in saying that. I was at the Oval for the just concluded test match. I haven't been to test cricket for about 10, 15 years because more and more I am demotivated, and particularly this last test match. But I'll come to that just now. So I was at the Oval for the opening session, and I heard members arguing and quarreling. Imagine, the board only gave 20% tickets yesterday, 24 hours ago. How the hell they could sell them? Imagine, the board only come this morning to talk to us about conditions for using the Oval. Isn't that madness? Imagine this, imagine that. I heard them, I made some mental notes. And all they're concerned about, how many attendants we have. And the days went on and on. I was in the president's box, so I was with the creme de la creme. And if the creme de la creme could talk so far more the hoi polloi. And I asked myself then, I told her wrong, because I was there for 10 o'clock, and at 10 o'clock, there were less than 3,000 people. I asked them, I said, but why is it this Oval is not filled to capacity? Why is it that you all assume that because it's a test match against England, that you don't have to market it? Why wasn't this thing properly marketed? Why did you all fool people to say all tickets being sold out when they were not? And you know what I was told? That marketing is not for us in Trinidad, it's for the West Indies Cricket Board. I said, but guys, how could the board tell you in Trinidad how to market in Trinidad? Something has to be wrong with that. Because you have to market your product, and you can't take it for granted that because it's cricket, the sport of kings, that people will come to the Oval. And I left at 11:30. After 15 yawns, I left 11:30. And I apologize because I couldn't stay till 12. And I said this here to you tonight, that I have read in newspapers where, of course, there have been a lot of euphoria. I understand this. And where, of course, it is said that cricket has not been turned around. It's a bright future, the dawn of a new era, and so on. And I said to myself that for me, it is an aberration that the West Indies were able to win the Test series. Because I looked at the series, and I, of course, found it difficult to understand why my bowlers, for example, couldn't bowl out the English side twice. Why it is we can't get, of course, 20 wickets in a test match. And I said to myself, it's not that so much that the West Indies won the series, but England lost it. And I don't mean to take away from Captain Chris Gayle any, of course, kudos and so on. But I'm sure when he goes into his room, and when his hamstring is being tended to, and he begins to reflect, he will understand what I'm saying. Where have all the bowlers gone? Where have all the bowlers gone? Where have the Crofts and the West Halls and wherever they are and so on, where have they gone? And what is, for me, is even critical is that our cricketers today have so many more benefits than the guys of yesterday, have so many more opportunities, and yet they don't deliver as much as the guys of old. But I'll talk about that another time, except to say that, of course, don't rush to judgment and say that the fortunes of cricket have been turned around because of the draw Ramdeen scrambled to save on the ultimate day. I want to touch on one more point. The umpire. I am ashamed to tell you tonight that the cricket, as I know it, is no longer cricket. Cricket, as I know it, when the umpires say you're out, you're out, even if by chance you made a mistake. Because that's life, it's human beings, you make mistakes. And when he says you're out, you're out. And you know there were times, particularly in Australia, when we were more in than out, but we out. Particularly Australia. And today, I look with some degree of embarrassment and shame that the umpire is no longer in control of the game, but the players are in control. The players now have 2 referrals per team, and they are in control based on a flawed technology. So the umpires say, you're out. And the players say, who the hell are you? Let me check the technology. And he says, you're not.